Economics is based on decision making. So it's all about decision making and the science that goes behind making decisions. The idea of making a choice over another one, another option you may have, the idea of making a choice over an option you already have, right? So all the science, all the calculations that go behind that is what this course entails. And so I'd like to reiterate that it's not something difficult at all, right? Also, the calculation in economics is basically division, addition, multiplication. That's all. There's nothing about it, all right? And so let's not be alarmed by the enormity of this course as projected by many. See it as an English course that you're going to read, and you will realize that the calculations that goes with this, right, with this course, all of them are basic um, um, actions or calculations. Apart from the principles and the questions, we are also going to learn how to interact and the principles behind how people interact, right? Interaction among other people when it comes to these choices and how to making them and who we make exchanges with and so on and so forth. We are also going to learn about the principles of how the economy as a whole works, which would later be around the macroeconomic session, which we may not go into, right? Since this course is entirely on the micro, which has to do with the individuals, right? And so we are going to spend a lot of time on these things. But today's session, we want to hover around the introduction, introduce you to the simple things and the difficult things that are going to be unraveled for us to get the challenging sessions ahead of us so that they would also equally be simple like today's sessions. So um, sit tight, enjoy the session as we move together. The key issues we are going to cover is what economic is about. Economics, what is it at all about? When we say economics, I'm going to address the class as if we are all new to economics and then ensure that I tailor down very technical stuff, right? And so some of you who may know these things as usual, you know the way I teach some of you. And so if you already know some of these things, it may be repetitive to your ears. However, the foundation is needed for all to catch along and flow along as well. And so today, look at the introduction, economics, and then how it's connected to individuals. And then from individuals, you know, everybody has a family, right? And so when you earn something, people around you also benefit, right? So um, even if you don't have people staying with you in your homes, who is this? I don't know. Okay, but let me just admit anyway, Mr. Queen. So even if you don't have a family or it didn't come about, you give birth to yourself. Um, give birth to yourself, though. I don't think you belong here on this planet. Anyway, so um, individuals are mostly linked to families where they all benefit from the incomes of the individuals in the family, or even if they don't have families, they are connected to their society where they buy things from, they make exchanges from. So their income is how they interact with the immediate community surrounding them. So you see that economics has to do with individuals. You can't talk about economics of an area without talking about the individual people. So it begins with the basic units, and then you look at the people at large, right? And so when we talk about, we look at the concept of market and who qualify and who is a market and what is a market, right? So you get to realize, this is where you get to realize that market is a combination of individuals. And this is why individual decisions are very key in economics. So we are going to look at that. So when an individual makes a decision, how does it affect the household? Is it directly proportionate? When we say directly proportionate, what we are trying to say is that when something goes up, because that thing has gone up and there's another item connected to that which has gone up, then that thing is obviously likely to also go up. So this is a term that you may likely see throughout. So when we interchange it with corresponding, which also means the same thing, don't be confused, all right? Some of you reached out to me that this is the first time you're seeing this course. Some of you also took it before, which was your first time then. And so this is why we are blending in like that. So we will look at how people interact among themselves. I've talked about that, how the economy as a whole works, which I've also spoken about, right? From individuals, household, and then the economy. But we are not going to delve deeper into the economy itself, okay? That one is meant for macroeconomics, right? And so, looking at the introduction on what economics is all about, we are looking at individuals, household, firms. So you look at the trend and see how it's going. You'll see that it moves from just a single person to a household, and then to firms, organizations, and then from organizations to societies, right? And then economic agents, which are economic agents, and so on and so forth, right? So these are confronted with the need of making choices. So each and every organization, each and every person or individual that belongs to these groups, they are confronted with the need of making choice day in, day out. You see, it is known that every human being makes over how many decisions a day? Who knows about that? Who knows about that? Hello, are you here? Oh, am I speaking? Let's make the class interactive. The human being normally makes an average of over 35,000 decisions, right? Conscious, like conscious decision, each day. The decision to wake up, the decision to move, the decision to lift up your hand, the decision to move your left leg first, and then the right afterwards, and then move to the left, move to the right, decide to speak, which word to choose, which words not to choose. You see that if you look at it, everybody is making a decision one way or the other. Right. So everybody or every organization is always confronted with the need to make a choice. And this is why this course is here to help us look at that. And so um, we have to look at economics not as a boring classroom subject with those graphs that we know of. I'm trying to lower down what you think the course is about. Because some of you are coming that, hey, this thing is difficult to this one. No, I'm bringing it down with these things. So we shouldn't look at it like that, okay? But it's basically you are looking at it from the angle that, okay, I'm here to learn about the science of making choices, the science behind making choices. So all these decisions we make, what is the science behind it? And we will look at the decisions behind our economic decisions, the ones that are about our finances, our choices on money, right? And what the goods and services, right? So these are what we are going to zoom in. So we are coming to learn the science about that. So when you look at it like that, it becomes interesting, right? Whether you are a student in Accra or you are a police officer or a farmer in Kumasi, you see, or a trader at Makola Market, you realize that you're already practicing economics every single decision when you look at it. And so it's not very difficult at all. Not at all. So look at the work you are doing, look at the business you are doing, look at the industry you're in. Every economic or financial decision you have made, you're already engaging yourself in economics. So it's just that now we are going to find the right terms to place what you already have been doing. Okay, and so you're already practicing economics in every single day of your life. So we are going to break down what this slide is basically about. And so with what you are seeing here, this is basically the reality of scarcity. And when we talk about scarcity, basically the pocket problem, you know, basically when we talk about scarcity in simple terms, it means that while our wants and needs are endless, the things that we need or the things that we use to get them, right, which is money. So our wants, right, and needs. Mind you, what you want and what you need are different. So it is very important to know the differences between these two. Okay, your wants are numerous, but your needs are the most important ones out of your wants. So your wants give birth to your needs. So in a nutshell, your wants is a universal set, and then um, uh, your needs are what or is a subset. You get it? So yeah. So that's the difference between your wants and needs. All right. So if I say uh, if I talk about wants, to list your wants can be 2 trillion. It may never end. You see, because even the richest people in the world, when they attain what they need, they never stop at it. Oh. I've never seen Elon Musk being tired of working or saying that they have gotten everything they need in this world. You see that there's always something at the top when you get there. And so wants are endless and needs are finite. So when I say finite, I mean that it's something that has an end or something that ends. All right. So um, normally we go with our needs based on the fact that our pocket may not be able to handle our wants, because someone's wants in this world, I don't believe that wants are limited. Wants will be unlimited. If I tell you to list me everything you want right now, not what you need or everything you want, you will list all of them. We'll give it to you, and you still need some things in this life, right? And so normally there is not enough resources to reach our needs. Sometimes, even if we tell you to list your needs, you realize that the way you want the thing is either you go for based on your pocket, you go for alternatives to what you actually needed in order to meet all your needs, right? Or you hope that when you ask and when you get any resource, then you get the high quality one, then you move on to the next one on the list, right? And so what is in your pocket will determine what you would have, right? What asset you will have, what property you will have. You get it? What product you will buy, or the service that will be rendered to you. Everything is based on on the availability of the resources you have. You get it? Because those resources are not around, we say in economics that you are limited. Okay, there is a limitedness in the supply of what your resources to meet your needs and wants. So when we talk about these things, this is basically what we mean. And so normally when we talk about resources, those who are writing, we normally talk about money, time, land. These days, they've added knowledge, okay? That is a side note. Now, knowledge has become an asset. You get it? So, because also knowledge is power. And if you have power, you can have all these things. You get it? So, but for the purposes of exam, we go with money, time, and land. And these terms are going to metamorphose. They are going to change and take on their technical shoes. And so as we follow along, as I move on slowly, you will get to understand the various terms we use for these ones: money, land, time. Okay. So these are the resources that are scarce in nature for us to meet our needs. So every time or every day in economics, it is known that there are always a lot of wants and needs. And because of that, there is always scarcity. There is always a problem of scarcity. And if there is a problem of scarcity, then your pocket will determine what you will get. You get it? And if your pocket is determining what you get, then you are likely to make what? Choices. And so scarcity in economics normally goes with what? Choices. You get it? Choice making. All right. And obviously, when you are making choices as a result of scarcity of resources, because when we talk about scarcity, we are talking about scarcity of resources. And I mentioned that the resources are what? Money, time, land. You see, because land represents the gold, the diamond. It's not just the land alone where you can build on, but when we talk about land, we are also talking about the good of the land too. So these ones too, the natural resources too are there. So let's look at it in that sense, all right? And right, let me see if it's all right. Okay, so um, we always in economics have that problem of scarcity, and you want to buy a new phone, right? You want to pay your electricity bill, right? And also take a friend out to eat banku. True or not true? Yeah. So these are all problems. You want to you have a plan to go and spend some time for the Easter, right? Go on vacation with your family. Find a very powerful spot in an Airbnb where you can go and enjoy with your family together alone with a business class trip, in and out, Accra, New York, Accra. But there are limited resources. There is scarcity. That is the problem. You want to buy that phone, you are not able to buy, and so you you are left with that scarcity. So you only have, let's say, 500 cedi to do all these things, and these are the plans. So in your head, you only have 500 cedis in your pocket. So the scarcity portion is when you have less than what you need to achieve or to solve that problem. You get me? And so uh, we look at some economic agents or the players which are involved in this decision making, right? So these ones are the people, you know, economics calls them economic agents. Okay, in economics, we call them what? Economic agents, the people. And so let's say in Ghana, for instance, these are what? Individuals or your household, you and your family deciding what to cook for dinner. You get it? When it comes to individuals, they are grouping the economic agents, those people who make the choices. We group them normally in three different kinds. So we have the individuals, we have the firms, and then we have the government. Individual, the corporations or the firms, and then the government or societies. You get it? So individuals or households, that's either you alone or your family, and then the corporate world, the businesses and the companies, right? And then the various societies above those businesses or the government, right? Above those businesses. So it moves in that hierarchy, right? And so these are the major players or the main players in economics that are known to make decisions. You get it? So these are the classification of people who make decisions. So why do they have to make decisions? Because there are scarce resources. All right. Good. Are we following? Are we following? Please follow. I like the way everybody is listening closely. I'm taking my time to so that you don't miss anything. Right? Make sure you follow, you are not distracted. The moment you miss the foundation, that is it. You may not get any other thing that will build on. And so please follow. If it will take me 2 sessions to complete this foundation, I'll be very, very happy. Right. So um moving on with the players that are to make the decisions, right? Or the technical term for these people, the firms, the individuals. Let me arrange them well. Individuals or households, as you can call them. and then we have the firms, and then you have the government. So basically, the individual is you and your family, as I said, deciding what to cook for dinner, right? And the firms is what? The local bakery. So we are looking at a particular example. A local bakery deciding how many loaves of bread to bake a day, and the government deciding whether to spend money on building a new flyover or improving a hospital. You look at the daily decisions that the government need to make. Should we build the road here in Spintex, or we should build it in northern region where we can connect the road to Burkina Faso and make sure that our tomatoes are safe after production, so that we can easily have a road network that connects. Do we do that, or we go and build the road at East Legon? You see, because of scarce resources, the government have the options to choose, because they may not be able to do all. And that is a problem, a constant problem, that for which reason we need to make choices. And then some of the sample decisions that businesses need to make, you know them, right? How, as I was saying, a local bakery or your company, can you mention a business that you may be working in, all right? Or you can just mention a random one, okay? No need to. Let me, can someone, I want someone to speak, mention a company, right? So that we look at what they do and the possible decisions that they may be thinking of to make, right? Anybody, you wanna try mention a company for us? You mention a company and then you tell us what they do, okay? Anybody, please, quickly, so that we go, okay? So that the class will be interesting. Let it be engaging. Let it be engaging. Hello, are we here at all? Or my network is gone off? Anybody?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're on the floor. Who was speaking? You're on the floor, sir.
Your question again, please.
Any company, and you can mention any company, the name of a company, and what they deal in, so that we use it for the firm section, okay? And the possible decisions they may be pondering over. You get it, as a result of limited resources they may have. So, any random company.
So, like the Media General TV3, where they do
Media
broadcasting
General, right?
and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. What are some of the decisions that may worry them in case they have limited resources? What are some of the things that may bother them, or the choices that they will need to make as a result of limited resources?
Probably terminate people's contracts because they can't pay them their salaries.
Come again, sir. The line was breaking.
I was saying that probably terminating people's contract because they can't pay them their salaries.
Okay. Okay, if they can't pay their salaries and they are terminating their contract, what other option would they go for? Because economics looks at decision making over an advantage. So you have two choices to make. Okay, but you've done so well. You've done so well. Paying salaries. So should we pay salaries, or we should use the money to pay salaries to invest it back in the business? You get it?
Yeah.
Should we pay? should we pay the salary or ignore reinvesting into the business? Or we should trust that the productivity of these people who are earning the salary will be used to increase the next 2 months salary. So instead of getting the same thing repeated twice, they may get times 4 of that. Is it a decision or a sacrifice we are ready to bear? So you realize that after you have the issue of scarcity and choice, you realize that even with the issue of choice, you will need to make certain decisions. And as you are making decisions, did you realize that as you are making decisions, you had to let go of one thing and go for another? And that is what I was driving us to look at. Are we seeing it now? So always when we are making that decision, so our brother is using Media General. Media General, they own TV3, right? I think it's TV3, right?
Yeah, TV3.
Yeah. So TV3, Onya, and can you mention some of their subsidiaries? TV3, Onya, and which one else? I just know about TV3, Onya, but I think that there are so many other ones. Okay. And I think the Onya is a TV station, right? Not
No,
an
that's
FM.
that's
So
that's an FM.
wow,
They
wow.
have
So
Connect
they
FM and
have
then Akuma FM too.
great. So the Connect is an FM station, right?
Yeah.
Great, great. So if you are faced, if you are the CEO of this company or this empire, this great empire, and you have encountered the issue of limited resources to make the usual decisions in the company, and our brother made an example of the issue of salaries, that means that you should be having some options at hand with the budget of, let's say, 4,000 CDs, and the total salaries of the people are 50. It's like 50,000. Do you get it? Would you say you pay some of them, or you use it to do something else? And so that is what economics entails, the art or the science behind making these choices. And so when we are able to make these choices, you realize that some will not be chosen and some will be focused on. And those that will be chosen, and the ones that are not chosen, they have various terms for them in this throughout this course. You are going to see a repeat on these ones. And so as an economist, let me zoom and make this a presentation. As an economist in charge of a firm like this, you encounter a situation where you need to make these choices, and you realize that you would have to drop some and leave some. And so we are always faced with the issue of making wise decisions. So we are supposed to make wise decisions. So in economics, instead of saying wise decisions, we use a term called rational, right? So we say rational choices. Rational. So your decision must be rational when you are encountering these problems. You get it? What if you also have that 50,000 cities, but you also have another problem? A problem of bills for the building that houses all these workers. Are you going to pay the workers, or you pay for the bills of the building. These are situations that will push you to make rational choices or rational decisions as an economist. So since we can't have everything, you realize that we can't have everything. We must choose. Okay, that this very slide here is telling us or showing us that we should try to be rational in our decision making. This also means that we are trying to get the most vibe or the value out of the little that we have. Okay, so with a little, as I was saying, with a 50,000 or with a 5,000, depending on what you have and what is important at that moment, will you keep your workers? What will you tell them? Would you prolong it, the situation? You tell them that this month's salary will delay, and so they should continue working hard, but they will be giving some allowances. Then you use the rest of the money to invest somewhere else, and then they benefit more in some other months to come. You see, that whatever decision you make, they must be rational, they must make sense. And we are going to come up with topics and ways to measure these decisions to see whether they are indeed rational or not. And so throughout this course, we are also going to look at the various mechanisms that will help us to make these decisions, or that will help us to determine or detect these situations for us to be able to make a rational forecast or prediction, so that in the future, when they happen, we'll be able to visit that data and always, or the statistics, right? And then we use it to make our forecast. You get it? So there's always a situation for us to make rational decisions. And so if you have 1 hour of free time, we are looking at another example, right? If we have 1 hour of free time, you have to choose, right? Do you spend it working an extra shift to earn money, or do you watch a football match with that 1 hour? Whether you choose to watch football with that 1 hour, that free time, or you choose to do something that will earn you some small coins, it is also a situation where you need to make choices. So these are some of the examples. You will pick the one that you feel benefits you most at that moment. That is you being what? An economist. So you remember that in the beginning, I was telling all of us that we have one way or the other made decisions in the position of economists, but we may not have known the various methodologies or the technical terms that were associated with the processes in the decision making, or even the problem, from the problem to the decision making, right? And so you pick the one that you feel benefits you most at that time. That is you being an economist. So an economist is someone that chooses or uses the right or scientific mechanisms, right, to make the right choices or rational choices. Basically, if you look at it holistically, we use scientific procedures to determine the right decisions for individuals, firms, or governments to make their choices. So this is where your role comes in as an economist for these 3 types of people: the individual or the household. That is number 1, the individual or the household, the firm or the firm or the corporations or the companies, which is number 2, and then the third one is what? The government. Individual, firms, government. but I'm just giving you the other names that they may appear in so that we understand. So we look at how economics manages resources. So now that we know the choices, now that we know the problems and how they may pose depending on which classification of the economic agents, right? Economic agents, I told you, the players that are involved with the economics are the individuals, the firms, and the government. And so, as an economist, you are coming in to help these people make the right choices through scientific approach or scientific procedures. And so, um, uh, um, as an economist, your role is to ensure that. But apart from that, you are also supposed to help them manage the little resources. So the little resources too, you are also supposed to help them manage. So this slide you are still looking at is also has to do with that, right? The slide concludes that economics is the study of how we manage these scarce resources, right? It looks at three main levels. So as you are still looking at the screen, you see the personal, everyday question. On the personal level, you look at, should I save my money in a susu or spend it on a new outfit? Managing the resources, an economist. Should they save the money, the resources, or what? Spend it on a new outfit? Individual, as an individual, these are some of the everyday question you make on the management of your resources. And as a business, they look at, as our brother said, spending the money on a salary or bills, you see, and as a nation to whether to make the road or not. You see that thing. So in summary, economics is simply the study of how we manage our small something, oh, to meet our big needs. So using that scarce resources, using that small resources to be able to achieve what we need, our big needs. You know that sometimes it's almost impossible, but economics, it has to be possible. You have to be able to use small. That's why it is known that normally those who study economics, they are prepared people. Because they want to use small things to achieve big things. Eh? And that is what economics is about. Economics is simply the study of how we manage our scarce resources, right, to meet the needs or to meet our needs and wants or to meet our needs, right? So on the slide, you see that there is what? The study of how society manages its scarce resources, right? How society manages it. And when we talk about society, in this context, we are talking about everybody. You, me, government. Together we make the government. So it is the same individual that make the government, but we are using a collective term over here, right? So the study of how society manages its resources, that's the main focus. So we are looking at how much to work, how much to save, how much to spend, how firms decide what to produce, how much to produce, how a society decide on whether to invent more in consumer goods or capital expenditure, how an empire like Media General can decide to go for paying salaries or paying bills, and so on and so forth. And so um, uh, we are going to look at how people make decisions, which we have already looked at. So some of these things we are just going to jump. And building on our first this thing, you realize that we looked at, or we looked at what the people's lives and the kind of decisions they were making. So we are going to look at the first rule of how we live our lives, especially here in Ghana, right? Because here in Ghana, we normally say life is how you make it. But economics would add that what life is what you give up to get what you want. So if you look at it from the examples we've given so far, in economics, that's what economics is. It's not, life is not how you make it. No, 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 no. Because what you make is not cannot be equated with what you would need to get. What you make is always not enough. It's about what you give up. You must always be willing to sacrifice something. That is life. And this is what economics is all about. The idea of making choices and letting go of other choices. You see, to go with the most pressing one at that particular moment. You get it? And so as an economist, life is not how you make it, but how what you give up, what you sacrifice to get what you want. And so we're gonna break this down. You know, people face the decision on exchange all the time because you give this and you let go of that, right? It's more like a trade-off. So when we say a trade-off, it's basically an exchange. You see, you are losing something on one end, and another end you are receiving something. You see, you are losing something by giving it out, and then you're also receiving something. That is how the world would go. For you to get something, you must let go of another. Okay, you can't get something for free. There are no free lunch. So you see at the top, there is nothing like free lunch in economics. So when people are saying it's free, the bundle, the SIM card is free. As an economist, when you hear that, you be like, nope. First thing first. The little economist has taught me that for me to receive something, there must be something that is also being given at an end. So what is the person who is giving benefiting? You get it. And when you begin to look at that, you look at the what the person is losing and what they are giving. You get it. What they are gaining and what they are giving, do they tally? Are they are they balanced? You get it. So to an economist, there's nothing like a free lunch. So again, if you take it on a more serious side, on the side of Christians, if you're a Christian and you're an economist and you uphold your principles so firm, you will not even believe the concept of Jesus Christ giving you his own life. You will say that, nah, it's not possible. But if you look at it too, it's an exchange, it's a fair exchange to gain something higher, right? Anyways. And so it's very, very important to note as an economist this concept of this free lunch thing. So you begin henceforth from today to look at things in a different perspective. You know, when a stranger pops up and they are like, you know, so and so, you open your economics lenses and then you begin to make your decisions thereof. All right. And so you might hear someone say free lunch or freebies. But in economics, everything has a hidden cost. Even if you don't pay the money, are you listening closely? Even if you don't pay the money, you are paying with your time or by giving up another opportunity. So the offers or the options you have are now taking the technical terms. So the options you have to trade with, right, to let go or to choose another, these options are also known as what? Opportunities. So the opportunities, you have to let some of them go and then take on one because of the scarce resources you have. Always put in mind. All right. And so you always have to let these opportunities go, some of them, to pick the shortlisted ones to move with them. To move with them. And so everything has a hidden cost. Even if you don't pay money, you are paying with your time or by giving up another opportunity. So in Ghana, if a friend invites you to a free wedding party, okay, it is it normally isn't strictly free. Like Mr. Banini has invited you to come for his, you know, Mr. Banini, what party would you invite us in? And you name it free. Is Mr. Banini here? What party will you invite us in and target free?
Maybe a birthday party.
Birthday party. So if Mr. Banini tells you he's holding a free birthday party, run away. As an economist, when you open your lenses, your eyes, you realize that everybody has a hidden cost to free things. And so, because there's always a hidden cost, what actually is he gaining from this party, this birthday party? It isn't entirely free. As an economist or someone who is studying economics, you will definitely know that he is giving up the time, even if it is not money. He is definitely giving up something. And you are also giving up your time to be there. Right. So there's always what? A trade-off. There are opportunities that will be let go. Maybe you have something to do and you have to be there because he said it's free. You eat free, you swim free, everything. I mean, his money has come. His scarce resources is being used for the birthday party. Oh my God. Next time I'll mention a different person. Madam Ayariga, get ready. So his scarce resources would be used for this birthday party. So as an economist, you have to look for because if you know what you will gain there, right? What he's bringing on board, you compare it with the choices you had at that moment, and know whether you attend the party or not, right? At that time, what is the most important thing? What the offer he's giving you at that time, is it enough to let go or sacrifice the other opportunities? That's basically what the trade-off means. What happens in the exchanges when we talk about the trade-off in economics. And so examples, attending a college, a university, or working, studying economics. Let me admit this, Mina. Please have a network issue. To be difficult. I'm taking my time, pal. If I were to be rushing like the way the lecturers do, we will be on slide 100 and something. So please, the way I'm taking my time, try and follow, okay? Don't be distracted by anything. I'm telling you, if you miss something from this point going, you are likely not to understand a lot of things. And so follow me. I'm moving, but not as fast as some of you may want me to. because of all of us. Okay, must consider everybody. So some of the examples of the trade-offs: attending college, university, vis-a-vis deciding to be a full-time worker. These are trade-offs. You sacrifice working for school, or you sacrifice school for working. Studying economics, more hours, or mathematics. In this case, are you studying more of the programming classes, or you focus more on economics? These are the trade-offs. What would you sacrifice? Would you give more hours to economics, or you give more hours to programming? Will you give more hours to accounting, or you give more hours to economics? Right? Saving more today means consuming less tomorrow, right? The concept of choice. Making good grades requires spending more time studying, right? If you spend more time studying, you are likely to gain good grades. So these are some of the choices. We also look at watching that football match or attending a lecture. Today, is there a match? Is there a match today? Oh, let me ask our boys. Please, the guys, help us. Is there a match today? What match do they have today? Can someone tell us? Because if there is a match today, then some people are multitasking. Oh. We need to know. We need to know. Is there a match today? Is there a match today? Oh, someone can unmute and tell us. Oh, I wouldn't. I will not laugh at you. I promise. If you talk about it.
Nah, there are matches today.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What?
Yeah, matches.
Yeah. What match? Okay. So what are some of the matches?
Champions League games. A lot of them.
Okay. Can we make some examples? Can we make some example?
Yeah.
Match between.
So we have Leverkusen and Olympiacos.
That is the top one,
Champions
right?
League.
Is that the
Yeah.
hottest match? Leverkusen and Olympiacos is playing, and you choose to be in an economics class. You have made a decision. See, if you are here and you are watching the match, your head like bullfruit, okay? Decide to make that choice so that you see, when you gain more knowledge on what you spend more time for. You don't have control. Your head. You see, so you what you spend more time to, you gain more knowledge on it, and then the sacrifices you make on the opportunities of the offers you have. So the opportunities that you have at hand. So this one, the opportunity is Leverkusen and Olympiacos, and you have another opportunity of economics, gaining knowledge on economics. You see, but you have some people. I suspect Jaria too on this. I think Jaria too is also watching the match. So this is where you need to make a difficult decision on letting go something that looks very important. You see, that's why I wanted to know the specific matches, so that I will know the most important one, and then you make your choice. So as you are listening to me, decide to turn off. I suspect Mr. Banini on this. He's a corporate, I guess. Sir Desmond, and unfortunately,
I've repented today.
Mr. Banini, what are you saying? I suspect you on that. So make the decision.
I've repented. I've stopped.
You have So you see, now that he has stopped, we are using it to learn. No? We are using Mr. Adai, Madam Jaria too, Mr. Banini. We are using them to learn. So now that they have repented and they are focusing on the economics class, they have made a choice and they have foregone an opportunity and picked one that they feel they will benefit more from. And right there, they have made the choice of an economist. You get it? Yeah. They've gone with the best one, and this is also going to help them in the future. They can choose to watch more matches, right? You have the privilege with this knowledge that they will gain more power with. You'll be able to watch as many matches later on. So it's a decision they are sacrificing now. So based on that, who can tell us the term in economics on the decision that they have made? Since this is the most beneficial decision, who can tell us what is the term that this decision is called? We mentioned it in slide 1. Can someone remember? It's called what? There's a term for it. Anybody remembering? Anybody?
Trade-off.
Yes, sir. Say this one. Yes, sir. Oh, I
Sorry,
didn't
please
hear
come
you.
again. Please come again.
What is the term given to the decision that is perfect, the decision that is right in economics, as they've made the right choice now?
Rational decision.
Use rational decision that is correct for 100 points. You see, so now that you see the one who has made the choice has seen that, wow, as I've let Leverkusen and Olympiacos go on away, I have made the rational decision. Why do you think it's a rational decision? Because you have sacrificed that one game so that you gain this one, and then later on you can make multiple watches of any future Champions League match. Because you have realized that this one, even the replay will be there for you to watch. And then you watching it live doesn't mean you have control over the game. And so you let go of what you have less control of and pick on a decision that you have more, you can control, you have more control of. You get it? Aha. And so in doing so, he has made the best choice. And in economics, we say the economics has made what? A rational decision, which we learned in slide 1. Perfect. It shows that we are following. So I'm now going to speed up a bit. If you are joining now, I'm sorry. Try and catch along. I'll try and be repetitive, small, but not too much. We are beginning to flow. Okay, so let me open to the present mood. Yeah, so these are the trade-offs that we were talking about. Those who just joined, we just spoke. Try and join early, okay? Otherwise, the work will be very difficult for us. Okay, the contents are many, and we want to be able to capture a lot of things in a short while. That's why I'm doing the slow foundation. Okay, so I don't know how we're going to do that because it took me a lot of time to get the foundation. But if you don't understand anything, you can reach out later on if you are now joining the class. Okay. I believe you have, based on the examples we have given and the repetition on the terminologies and so on and so forth. Right? Is that okay? Am I being fair? Or guys, you say I'm not being fair? Okay, so we have looked at the concept of the let me see. Saving and chilling and so on and so forth. The fun and the games and the fun and grades, right? Watching a football match is fun, but it is a trade-off because you could have used that time to attend a lecture like economics class or study to get a better grade, right? So this is it. Work versus rest. Do you work or you rest? So you realize that we are always making the decisions already, you see. And then the big pie. So do you go for efficiency or you go for equality? So we are looking at this one now. When we look at the whole country, right? the concept of equality and efficiency, we are looking at it. So when we look at the whole country, right, the government also faces massive trade-offs. Those who are now joining, we said the trade-offs are basically the exchanges of the opportunities available as a result of the few resources we have. All right. For which reason we need to make rational decisions. See the way I'm connecting them. So as time goes on, we'll have more options in this short statement I've made, and we'll be expanding it. You see, and you'll be connecting the dots. That's how I want you to learn this course, and then it will be massive for all of us, right? Okay, so when we look at the whole country, the government also faces a massive trade-off between efficiency and equality. Think of the total wealth of Ghana as a big economic pie. So if you take a meat pie, the circular ones, have you ever seen a round meat pie before? I'm yet to see one, but we are looking at it in that sense. Later we'll look at it in a chart form. Okay, so if I think instead of pie, let's look at it like a pizza, right? You see the way they cut pizza in pieces, like they cut it. Let me see if I can get some. Why is my mouse? I think my battery. Oh Lord. Okay, so let's look at how the. Can you see my screen? What's the name, Kra? What's the name of this one? What's the name of this one? Pizza, right? Pizza slides, right? Full, or should I add full pizza slice so that we see it? So I want to use it to explain something. Okay. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Can you see my screen, everyone? Are you seeing the screen? This evening, my English has come out. Today I've not bar one cry. Or if Monica were to be here, or the Meko. Aha! I want us to have this one, this image here. So it will be just one. It would have been beautiful. I love to use these images to do the teaching when we are, so that you remember. This is the place he used the pizza. Yeah, that's powerful. All right. So do you see? Let me zoom in this image. Zoom, 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 zoom. Let me see. I zoom for no one. My mouse anyway, no one correct. Me zooming there to 200. Please, is it clearer on your screens? I don't know. I'm using a laptop, and so I don't know how you're seeing it over there. But are you able to see the pizza? We have some 3 slices of pizza on the screen. You let go of the match. I'm giving you 3 pizza. Yeah. Okay. So now let's look at this. Keep looking at it. I'm gonna talk about something right now. So, when we look at the whole country, so the whole country is the whole everything. Like like if you pick one full pizza, I wanted just one picture, but there are 3. That's fine. So if you pick one pizza like this, right, the whole thing. Look at it as the whole country. The government also faces a massive trade-off between efficiency and equality. Think of the total wealth of Ghana as a big economic pie. So this is our pie. This is our economic pie. The total wealth of Ghana is all one. If you pick one pizza, the everything, Efficiency is equal to what? The size of the pie. Okay, what is the size of this pie? That is the efficiency. Okay, and equality is when the pie is being taken one by one, when you are dividing it. So you can see that when you pick either of them, any of them, you see that there's one pie that has been cut. So this is what we mean by the equality. So if you are looking at it in a holistic view, I'm going to go into it deeper, but I wanted you to see this picture. So when you look at the efficiency, which is associated to the size of the pie or the pizza, right? The size of the pie. So think of the pizza as a pie, okay? Because it's a pie, right? You have a pie there, okay? So this is when society gets the absolute efficiency. Oh, this is when the society gets the absolute most it can from its limited resources. The whole thing. This is when society, everybody can get the absolute most that it can from its limited resources. It's about making the pie as large as possible. So if it is the number of workers, we need a lot of workers, because the more work we put in, the more output we get. Because if you have more workers, then it means that you produce more output. If you have a factory and you invest in the size or the you invest in the expansion of the factory, you are obviously going to end up producing more. True or not true? So in this image, there's a dimension inside, which is 367 by 137. That's the dimension of the image, right? But let's take it as that's the dimension of the pie. So the more size you have, the more people are going to benefit. You get it? Because you have more people working, that means that they will produce more and more will be earned for people to earn a living. You get it? So this is the pie. The more size you have, the more people are going to benefit from eating it. But if it is small, you bring plenty people, they will not. Some will not get. True or not true? It depends on how you cut it. Everybody will have less than they will need to be filled, right? Great. So this is how I wanted us to look at it, right? From this broad sense. So efficiency helps in the totality of the input of the work you want to be placed in. So when society gets the most from its scarce resources, the size of the economic pie, right? It's about making the pie as large as possible. So we are thinking about the size of it. And then equality is when prosperity is distributed uniformly among society's members. How fairly economic pie is divided among society's members. So we have a total number of people on the work. But how should we share the individual work to them? So if you look at the pie, let's go back to the pie. Who should get the biggest? So if we are giving 2 to someone, who should get the biggest? Who should get the smallest? Is it fair? Is it not fair? You get it? What input qualifies them to get that type of share? So equality is the aspect that talks about fairness. You get it? But efficiency talks about the whole thing. Are we following closely? Are we following? If you are lost, let me know so that we find you and bring you back. Are we following? If you can hear me, let me know. Okay. Normally, I love the feedbacks. You see, the interface for Teams is such that you have to go, if you're on the full screen, you may want to go and come back. If you know what I'm doing here, or you've ever been on this thing, you understand it. And so if you use your sound to respond, I think I would appreciate that more, right? The feedback, so I wouldn't have to come back to check emojis, because I can make it to come very small on my presentation screen, but on the recording side, it will come, okay? It will appear and it will be covering some of your text, you see, so you may not see some parts, and I don't want that for you, okay? So normally I want, so that if you are playing back the video, you would see the full screen and nothing will cover your text. So it is advisable to make that choice. It's advisable to make the rational choice of unmuting yourself to talk in response to any call that I may make for you to come in with those responses. All right? Powerful, powerful. I know you have heard, and then you are going to do a search. All right? Great. So this is the concept. So equality is when you are thinking about its fairness. Don't worry, I'll end very soon. I just want us to get these vital points. Okay. The number of people involved in the work. We are looking at efficiency. The number of people, the small resources we have, how many work or input are we able to give? You get it? Aha. In total. And equality will come in to talk about, okay, so we have plenty people at the workplace and they are working. This is a efficiency. But is the work being distributed fair enough? Is it a fair way of distributing the work? You get it? Is there a procedure, a scientific way to measure who gets what job to do, right? And how much duty is given to a particular person, so that nobody is treated unfairly, right? So when prosperity is distributed uniformly among society's members, all right? So how fairly the economic pie is divided among society's members. Trade-off, the use of progressive taxation to redistribute income from the rich to the poor to achieve greater equality. Okay, so progressive taxation is when the rich is taxed. This issue that I'm about to talk about, where the issue of progressive taxation. You see, when we talk about the progressive taxation, you are looking at, because of equality, you want to let people benefit the same way, because you feel like someone is earning higher. And so the person who is earning higher must sacrifice for the person who is earning less. On the morality part of it, it is okay and it is right. You see, if you look at it, but progressive taxation, you look at someone who has really suffered and gone through the system, who didn't enjoy this progressive taxation thing, where the rich should be taxed more and the poor should be taxed less, so that there will be fairness in the system. Everybody will be able to achieve something, because if we give the same tax that are being taxed on the rich person on the poor, then everybody suffers the same fate. That means that the rich becomes richer and the poor becomes poorer, because the burden of the rich is given to the poor. You get it? Some people think that there's a loophole in this, because you have to look at it from the point that the rich people rather have to enjoy, And so there must be a type of tax that you bring where it will rather ginger the rich to invest more into the system so that the poor will become richer by letting or giving some policies for rich people to earn more with less taxation so that they can invest into the system, building more companies with the money that you could have taxed with tax them with, right? So that they will use that same money to invest in other areas for the less privileged to be employed in those areas. In so doing, you can tax them at a very small fee because you have, with that, more people will get work. You have widened the efficiency of the whole thing, and then more people are working. You see, now you have more people working and you'll be earning a lot of tax instead of charging a small group of people, which is the rich, or a small group of people, which is the poor. You see, some people too argue that no, let's tax the poor people more because it will challenge them to do more. You know, everybody and how they think. So we are going to look at taxation too in the coming distance. So this is the concept of the progressive tax. Okay, the more you earn, okay, income from the rich to the poor to achieve greater equality, you take that you give more taxes to the rich, and the poor is freed. It's not necessarily giving them those monies, the poor people those monies from the rich, but it could also mean that you tax them less. What they were supposed to pay, they won't pay. Then the government will use that extra money from the rich to do some other things, which normally doesn't work because they take those monies and they go and use to pay salaries in Ghana. Okay, but I think things are changing now. Things are changing. We see some changes that are happening where now the government is using some of these monies to invest in the economy for the economy to boom up. And a typical example is to invest in this gold and cocoa assets, right, that we have as a country, and for those sides to also boom. But unfortunately, the cocoa people too are not being paid. But hey, it is what it is. So you don't really know what we are running here in Ghana, but God is our helper. Amen. So this is why you are learning this. In the near future, you'll be also in power and you'll be able to make the rational decisions for the country of your birth. All right. So trade off the use of progressive taxation to redistribute income from the rich to the poor to achieve greater equality, but this reduces incentive to work and produce, shrinks the size of economic pie because a lot of people are being taxed. Now you see people trying to do tax evasion. They don't even want to be part. You see, the whole thing is an ecosystem where things that comes around goes around. So if you tax some people too much, or people are being burdened with a particular thing, now people begin to lose their appetites, and so their efficiency drops, their input drops. You see, and when their input drops, those people that they were earning from their hard work and things, they don't get it, and it goes in a long way to affect the other end. You see, whenever something happens on the other side, it affects everyone because notice that the individuals are the same as the household. And these are the same people who make the corporations. These are the same people representing the government because the government is you and I, remember. You see, so when something happens to the rich man, it will in the long run happen to the poor man. Something the adverse effect may happen to a poor man. You get it? So if you look at it like that, there's always a trade-off in that side, but this will reduce the incentive to work and produce. As I was saying, the rich people will decide not to invest in their work because you are taxing them too much. You see, and if you are taxing them, they say, imagine I heard this man making a situation. Let me use this to end today's session, right? What's his name? This Honorable Kennedy Japan, right? You know, he's a businessman, right? So I think he was making some business analysis where he said in 2022 he invested some monies of $100,000 to buy some stuff from Turkey. Based on the exchange rate, the $100,000 could purchase those items, right? Purchase those items. But from that time, let's say if it was June or April, around that time where he was making the order, when he was ready for the money to be, after the allocation, the money was just sitting in the bank for some few months. So around August, he was going back to continue or finish the trade or seal off the deal, make the payment so that the goods will come. The money has been allocated, paid partly to complete for the goods to come. And then the dollar had depreciated, the CD had depreciated so much. When I say the CD had depreciated, it means that the local currency, which is the CD that we use, had lost its value. Okay, because on the international markets, we don't use CDs to buy things, we use dollar. And so normally you need to change your CDs into the dollar. And the number of times people are bringing this foreign currency into your system, right? The more people are doing this, the more your local currency is losing its value. There are also other factors to that, which we are going to look at. But it had lost its value. And this is where you begin to see the value move from, let's say, 5 cedis is to $1 to, let's say, it moved to, at a point, it moved to 22 cedis, right? Or 18 or 22, some funny amount. It was so high. This is more than like quadruple or so, you see, in the space of a very short time. And so he was complaining. I mean, his government was in power and was complaining. And he went back, and that $100,000 project had now become billions of dollars. And if you look at it from the perspective of an entrepreneur, right? If you are in the e-commerce business, or you are in the e-business framework, or whatever entrepreneur you are, you'll see that if you are someone who imports things, it will really, really affect you big time. This is where you begin to have sleepless. People can die out of a result of that. So you see, the result, why I'm saying this is that in the end, it is the workers who will suffer from these things. Because if they make great losses like that, who will pay the burden? They will begin to lay off workers. You see, or they begin to find some funny faults in the workers, and they lay people off, and people will be jobless as a result. You see, not many people have the how do you call it, the qualification, right? And so when they lose particular miracle jobs like that, it's very difficult for them to get enrolled, and especially if the job is a competitive one. You see, and so when the rich people suffer, the people also suffer. What goes around comes around. You see the thing. So, hey, it's on both sides. It's a trade-off. And so let's always remember that in economics, one thing that affects one party can also bounce back at you and affect you. So with this knowledge that we have gotten today and the basics that we have here, we want to hold on for tonight's session, and then in our next session, we'll look at the continuation by looking at the making of decisions, the opportunity cost, the concept. The cost of something is what you give up to get. You see, the opportunity cost, which I've spoken about, we are going to dive into it, and the things you lose, the rationale, the decisions we make, you see, And what are some of the things that we do to boost the morale of workers? You get it? So that they can give us more work. They can put in more work. The efficiency of workers can increase so that the output will be increased as well for organizations, individuals, and the government to benefit from. Because when an individual benefits, it affects the firms, and the firms affect the government, right? And both of them, or all of them, the three of them, their decisions begin to change. Okay? We'll look at all those ones. And I believe that you've understood these ones from the very basics that we've spoken about. I'll plead that in our next session, you join very, very early. You see, the time when we fix it is not, I don't want to say the rest in the recording, but let's try and join very early on the set time so that we will all benefit from the sessions and we can do more. You get it? Because we really, you see the way I'm teaching it, I'm letting you get extended knowledge on the whole thing. I'm not teaching it for as usual, right? Like how you need to know and then we go chill and pour. I really want you to understand, because you see all these things that we've taught here, you can remember everything because it is in your understanding and not just in your knowledge, right? That you've got it. So let's try and join early so that we can do more, because the time is small for us. Like the 2-hour time is small. I wish we can have like 3 hours and then we'll have a break in between. But it is what it is. We'll finish all right. But I want us to finish like 2-3 weeks ahead so that we start solving questions. Okay. So on this note, thank you very much for being part of today's session. If you have a question, you can send it to me privately as well, and I will attend to you. Okay. After our next session, when we complete the first slide, we are going to answer some questions, and you test your knowledge, and we will proceed. And by the end of everything, you'll be successful. In Jesus' name. Amen. So thank you for being part of today's session. Until we meet again, same time next week. How do they say it? Can someone sign out for us? Yeah.